Today's episode is brought to you by the Thriving in Motherhood Journal. This is my go-to tool to completely change how you will experience motherhood. I created it during some really hard seasons in my life to change how I was thinking about my life and to bring more meaning, fulfillment, and joy into the everyday and including the really hard days. This is based in the latest research of positive psychology, high performance habits, cognitive behavioral therapy, gratitude research, as well as some scriptures from the Bible to bring in a spiritual element as well. And as you learn to ask these questions to yourself, it changes how you see your day. It changes what you focus on. And as you change your focus, you will find that you are feeling so much more joy. You can learn more today at thrivinginmotherhoodpodcast.com/journal. Hi, my name is Jessica Jackson of the Thriving in Motherhood podcast, and today I want to share with you my morning routine. We are starting to transition back from summer and all of the fun, lack of routines, the trips and the having kids doing different things, and it's really fun. But as I start to think about getting back into the school year, into some more structures and rhythms for our family and probably yours as well, I like to start with this core of my soul pillar. And a lot of those things that I do are to help me in that strengthen that soul pillar of the 3 pillars of thriving has to do with my morning routine. So I go really in depth in all of these things in the Made to Soar program, your next 90 days, that you can learn about at thrivinginmotherhoodpodcast.com/made to soar. But today I want to go into just specifically what my morning routine looks like to help inspire you and get you thinking again about what would work for you as you go into fall to set yourself up for success. Hi, I'm Jessica Jackson, and this is the new way to thrive in motherhood by leaning into who you are, what you love, your unique family situation and personal mission to create a life that you actually want to live. I want to invite you to join me in saying no to the life of the exhausted supermom, burnout, victim thinking, being pulled in so many directions, suffering through survival mode, or being lost in motherhood, and say yes to building strong families and moving forward on our greatest goals in order to create a fulfilling life that we are excited to wake up to each day and become a soaring mother. This is the Thriving in Motherhood podcast. I want to take just a moment and share a free gift that I've created for you called 3 Secrets to Do More of What You Love Without Hiring a Babysitter. This workshop is available for you to go watch right now and start taking action on so that you can do more of what you want to do, more of what's on your heart, more of what is important to you. With your children at home. You don't have to wait for them to be in school or for you to have loads of time. There are ways to start moving forward right now. And you can check that out at thrivinginmotherhoodpodcast.com/workshop. All right. I feel like after a summer, we will be, I'm actually recording this at the beginning of summer, but by the end of summer, we are about to go on a gazillion road trips. And I have done this enough times to know that by the time we get to the end of our summer, it feels crazy and chaotic. And I start acting weird, and I'm a little bit more irritable and a little bit more grumpy because my 3 pillars, we talk about having these 3 pillars of thriving. And when you've got those, you've got a solid foundation. And one is vision, one is structure, and one is soul. And I feel like during the summer when we are traveling or just have other things going on and we don't have those regimen routines, the 2 things that go for me really quick are my structure pillar. We stop doing those essential things every day, and my soul pillar, these personal habits that really help support me. And so as we are gearing up for fall, I am really looking forward to diving strong into the soul pillar and making sure my morning routine is dialed back in. It's always unpredictable when we're traveling. And I do try and keep some element of this in place always. But I'll be honest, even the last few weeks, we've been in survival mode and I have not done these things. And it drives me into the ground so fast. And I'm like, why am I negative? Why am I so frustrated? Why am I so grumpy? Why is it so hard to function? Because I stopped doing these things that support me. So when I wake up in the morning, I drink a bunch of water. And then the very first thing I do is I grab my journal, just a plain journal from Walmart. Ooh. One of the Exceed notebooks. I've tried a bunch of them. Like I think Moleskin for a while was really good. Is that what it is? Anyway, there's some brand name ones out there. But their papers got really thin. And now I find that the Walmart ones, the Exceed brand, are super high quality and cheap. So that is a win-win. And I free write and I just kind of brain dump maybe a page about what my thoughts are of the last 24 hours, anything notable, meaningful, and just kind of get that out of my brain. And the reason why I do that is because it just like creates that space, like gives my space into my brain. Like if you've ever done the Create Your Vision challenge that I have as part of the Made to Soar program, or that's in the Thriving Motherhood Planner, the very first thing we do is unload our backpacks. All right. And so I like to basically unload my backpack every day, clear it out, make room for something else by journaling. So that's my very first thing that I do. Once I've started journaling, I keep this open and I move into the Thriving Motherhood Journal. And in this, I ask myself some of these key questions as mine. I have used it. There's tons of writing in it. And I like to ask these first questions on the chunk of the page, which are, what's one thing that would help me feel successful at the end of the day today? Which really helps me figure out what is the thing that's stressing me out right now, or top priority, or how do I want to be today as a person? Then what are my next actions for my 3 priorities for the week? As I think about what's important to me, I have my big 3 in my planner. And this gives me a chance to just think, okay, what do I need? Like, what are those next baby steps? And then what's one thing I could do today to make tomorrow easier? And I love asking this question in the morning because it gives me, I'm not a night person. I don't function well at night. So I like doing this in the morning to be able to think ahead, like, okay, it looks like here I was prepping for Joy School. I was going to teach Joy School the next day, so I was prepping for it. Then I have some other questions that I ask, which is, what is something that might challenge me today, and how would my best self handle that situation? So this is from 2020, it's a little while ago, but I was tired and I just thought if I would just take deep breaths and speak quietly to my kids, that would help me show up better and be kinder. I had a newborn at that time, so... my next question is, what would God have me do today? I often leave this blank until I've started my next step. So I might not fill this out all the way until I start reading my scriptures. What's a message that I can give myself to get day? Again, I'm thinking about this. I read these. What is one thing we could do or work on together as a family today? So I often leave this open, read through them, remind myself that these are the things that I'm curious about, questioning about, seeking, ideas from God about, for the Spirit. And then I start reading my scriptures. So once I go into my scripture study, I've got, different things that I'm reading, or sometimes I just flip open and see where I land. And I try and find something that's meaningful to me. And that's when I go back into my regular journal. And I love to write down a couple of scriptures and then my thoughts on that scripture. And then I start praying and think about these questions from the Thriving Mother Journal and try and fill them out. And I might take a break. So I exercise every morning. I love to do Physique 57. I've been doing it for years, since before I had children, back when they just had DVDs. Now they have something on demand. I don't get anything for telling you about that, but that is what I do every morning. It's a bar workout. And then once I have done that, I will come finish filling this out, like if I've pondered it, or when I'll take a shower, pondering it still. And then the final thing that I do in the morning is I pull out my Thriving Motherhood Planner, and I go over what are my big priorities for the week, what are the things I need to do for the week that I'm interested in, try and figure out, wrap my brain around what I'm going to tackle today, and then what are our scheduled appointments and day-specific to-dos. So, and just for fun, we're about to go on a trip. So I don't have a big 3 for the week. I just have a to-do list. I only teach this. I don't live this way normally, but these are the things that have to get done before we go. So that is what I'm focusing on. And they're really big things. Anyway, just so you know, I break my rules too. So that is how I start out my mornings. And what I love about this, then I go take a shower and I pray that entire time. I get ideas, I write them down, and I'm pretty much ready for my day. And I feel like when I take time to do that, 30 minutes to an hour, and I often have 1, 2, or 3 kids with me before I'm done with this. So it's not like this perfect time by myself. It's usually interrupted or with somebody with me. But when I take time to do this, my entire day goes so much smoother. The phrase "create your day with God," I don't remember where I heard it, but that's kind of what I like to think about this is, that when I do this, it helps me create my day with God. It helps me get my soul pillar in place for my day. And I'd like to remind myself that in theory, I don't maybe have to do all of these things. I can still have a good day even if I can't do this. I don't want to get to the point where it's all or nothing. But I've also know that if I don't do this for many days, that my life gets so much harder and I struggle so much more. And so these are things that I can do to be proactive in my circle of influence, to enjoy myself more, to be calmer, to feel less overwhelmed. Like that was the thing that was really surprising this last time when I wasn't doing this in the morning. I became so overwhelmed very quickly because I just didn't have clarity about what mattered. And I didn't have that. I mean, that's really what it was. I didn't have clarity what mattered like long term, but also in my days. And so it just became like, I just felt like I had to go faster and faster and do more and more and more. But it was like, the reality is I just had to slow down and figure out what mattered most. And then I can move forward on those things in a much more measured pace. And so this morning routine really is that gift of giving yourself the space to slow down, figure out what matters, get that clarity, and then move forward with confidence that the things that you're spending your time on really are the things that matter most and that you can get excited about and feel good about and feel confident on. Again, if you want to learn more about this, check out the Made to Soar Next 90 Days program at thrivinginmotherhoodpodcast.com/made-to-soar. And you can learn all about it as well as some very actionable takeaways in my free workshop, 3 Secrets to Do More of What You Love Without Hiring a Babysitter. I hope you have a wonderful week and I will talk to you next week.
Where you are planted, watch the blossoms grow.